I feel that we are not still able to understand fully the value of Sahaja School. And Shri Mataji once said that only in 200 years we could understand the importance of Sahaja School. So it is not for us to give the full picture of it. Of course, it is what we feel is that very, very fundamental for the Sahaja culture as a whole. An example looks like a lighthouse in the darkness of humanity. Is a focal point where you establish the principle of Sri Ganesha. We know how it is important to stabilize the principle of Sri Ganesha before starting any project, any human adventure. And a school, a Sahaja school, is a place where you focalize this attention and where you stabilize the principle of Sri Ganesha for the benefit of all the Sahaja Sangha, and I would say for all humanity.
Sending your kids to a Sahaja school is about giving them an opportunity, the best opportunity, to just grow up in an environment where they can just absorb the vibrations of Shri Mataji. But that's only possible if you're detached. And detached in a Sahaja sense of detachment that comes from within. It's important to understand it's not just about the children. It's also very much about the attitude of the parents and the people around the children, giving them that space to grow and absorb vibrations.
After 2011, when she was not here anymore with us, like before, like since '91, everyone in the Sangha would say that people will not come anymore in Cabella because she is not here anymore. And probably she knew that in the last time of her life, she wanted to establish the school in Cabella. So I have witnessed that the school has been acting in Cabella, in the collective of Cabella and also in the Sangha, in the international Sangha, as a seed that is bloomed and has kept alive the Sahaja life in Cabella. So because of the school in the beginning, people came again in Cabella.
So as I said before, she was keeping silent most of the time, and most of the time she was speaking, it was about the school. One nice moment was when Shri Mataji in 2008 came to have around the school in Casaforme and then in Centrasi. She went up, she looked at everything, and she commented, for example, on the chairs. That she said that the chairs were too big for the children. She was completely right. She catch the point in such a way. Yes, her attention was always there. Being here with her, we are sure, and that was the energy that sustained us in the last 7 years working for the school, because we were here with her and we saw how much she was focused on the school, how great was the importance she was giving to the school, and that was our driving force being here in Cabella.
Another story which is about Cabella, and you may have heard this before because it's a fairly well-known story. Shri Mataji was in her room in Cabella, and she was there. I think her family was with her daughters, her sons-in-law, her CP probably, and they were talking about education and the what the essence of education was and why it was important, and they're having just a discussion amongst themselves. And they couldn't really agree. And then at a certain point, this little girl, just randomly, the daughter of the Sahaja Yogi just wandered into, just a little girl like this, wandered into Shri Mataji's room with a flower in her hand. and just, walked up to Shri Mataji and gave her a flower and did namaskar,
This little girl that entered with a flower in Shri Mataji's bedroom after 3 days that she was there, almost suffering physically, let's say, she was not eating. And she said, oh, this is the solution. Children are the solution, because they will teach Sahaja Yoga to the parents. And at that time, just saying this is the solution, the children are the solution, was kind of opening the road to the school, because children has to be trained to become good yogis.
And from that moment on, I remember that moment very clearly, because she never stopped talking about the school in Cabella. The school in Cabella after that was the main thing she spoke about. And that little girl, by the way, went to Cabella School, and I think she's just qualified as a teacher.
So, these are like the future generations. These are going to be the messengers of Sahaja Yoga of Shri Mataji for the future. So, having these children, trained, educated in the right environment, because many schools today would take to the, let's say, very much the gross knowledge, so I've seen the children, they can grow much more when they are together in the collective. The sharing, it's the friendships that happen, they are for the lifetime. So I feel that, growing in the collective is very important. The bonding, the knowledge, it just really establishes. I feel like once she said, it's very important for the children to go to Sahaja School, because this is when their personality, the characters are formed.
That's the power that the kids get, I think. The kids who go to the schools in Cabella, or to any Sahaja Yoga school, is they hold on to that innocence for longer, and it affects the later development, irrespective of what happens, and I think and this is something that Shri Mataji's also said, is that, if you're going to send your kids to the school, it has to be when they're young, because the damage to their innocence is when they're very small. You may only notice it when they become teenagers, but the damage is done when they're very young by exposing them too soon to issues and problems that they're not ready to deal with at a subtle level, or even an emotional or psychological level. And so coming to a kind of understanding that if you want to understand anything about Sahaja education, you have to look at the broad strokes that Shri Mataji painted. Like with everything in Sahaja Yoga, she never gave a specific rule about how things had to be done. So you have to look for principles, you have to look for those broad strokes, the things she insists on, the things that within which everything sits. And I believe that's one of them. It was Sahaja education is all about, only works if the parents are detached.
And in my personal perspective or feeling or what I have understood, which is very my 5 cents, is that she wanted to build here a kind of prototype of a school, and to be exported, because I remember she said that time that in the future there will be one school in each city, in each country. So from some point you have to start. And here it was the first school in Western country, let's say, because Dharamsala, we know it was in India, and India is different. They established, let's say, the big Ganesha principle there. But then to do the same in Western country was already a little bit different. So we can say now that Cabella School right now is in place since 11 years. So in this 11 years has been built a modus operandi, a background, a solid let's say also Sahaja curriculum. And this can be easily packed and export everywhere. Also, we received already some requests from other people, other collectives all over the world. We would like to open a school in Brazil, we would like to open a school in Germany, here and there. Yes, why not? This is the way you could do it. Of course, you shouldn't follow blindly, but you have a kind of structure that it can be exported everywhere. And probably in that time, I don't know when, 10 years, 20 years, in that moment it will be fulfilled the desire or the vision that Shri Mataji had that day in Cabella when she said, this is the solution. To have a school of children in every city of the world that can teach Sahaja Yoga to the parents. But this is a visionary vision, and it will happen sooner or later. But you have to start from some point. And probably she found Italy, she found Cabella an easier place to start and to establish something. And we are still running.